first introduce our sponsors, because without their participation, we wouldn't have the collaborative. So Dan, if you could pull up those slides, I'd like to do an introduction to our panelists, to our sponsors. Can you start with the other one, please, Dan? Dan, can you go back and start with the other one, the Premier? Okay, first of all, I'd like to introduce our Premier sponsors. We have Russ Keller with the Credit Law Center. It's a national company based in Kansas City, and he is the representative for St. Louis. I know he's very busy these days with lots of people looking to fix their credit, and this firm is connected to a law firm, so it's really been very effective. Next, I'd like to thank Chris Giannino of Simple Moves, who most realtors know that this is a place to start when they're helping their clients organize themselves to move. He does both small moves and large moves, not only local now, but nationwide. We've been enjoying working with him for a long time. And Linda Borghi, who is also one of our speakers. She is a premier sponsor, Dazzle Home Staging. She specializes in vacant home staging, and she's been in business for over a decade and has won many awards on a national level for her work. John Brandvine, who is with his own company, Brandvine & Company. He's a certified public accountant. He's great at putting together tax strategies for real estate professionals. We've used him for IRS negotiations and resolutions. Then we have Mimi Brandt of Chesterfield Title. She is with a woman-owned title company, and we use them, and many others probably on the call use them and find that they're excellent people to work with. And then we have Andrea Lenson of Design to Sell. She is the occupied staging service in the Premier Sponsor section, and she's been in real estate and staging for a long time, and is a real source of influence and introduction for people besides being in the staging business. Next, we have our event sponsors, and these folks cover a wide range of businesses. First, we have Andrew Abraham, who is with CNB Bank and Trust in Clayton, does commercial loans for people wanting to buy properties and refurbish them, or I'm assuming he can do also loans for commercial projects as well. We have Marcia Russo, who is with the Old Republic Home Protection business, a national company, one of the top home protection programs in the country, and she's worked with a lot of realtors, is very helpful to all the folks that work with her. We have Troy Pieper, who is with State Farm, covers a wide range of insurance products that State Farm offers. He's licensed in Missouri and Illinois. Brad Langenecker is a custom home builder who is one of our event sponsors. He is working not only with building new homes for people, and occasionally a home that he does spec, but also does remodeling for his clients. He's got a very beautiful product when you see the kind of homes that he turns out. We have Three Doors, who are as-is property buyers. James Manning and Ryan Wessels, they are also brokers. They are an interesting combination of brokerage and redevelopment of residential properties. And of course, most of you know about St. Louis Real Producers, Diane Collins and Nick Najar. They are now the preeminent real estate magazine in Greater St. Louis. Brian McCray of the McCray Mortgage Team. His team is widely known in the residential mortgage field, connected with Central Bank. Brian is also an incredible speaker and trainer. Dennis Cooper, our reverse mortgage specialist with the Federal Savings Bank. It's a national bank, so Dennis can help people all over the country, and is probably one of the leading, not probably, is one of the leading reverse mortgage people in Metro St. Louis. We have Jim Colombo, St. Louis paint specialist. He does a lot of work for realtors and has a lot of recommendations, and his business has just been growing by leaps and bounds. We have Knox Malus of Integrity Title Solutions. And Knox is with a local firm that has branches. I think they're up to about 15 branches now. And they do construction dispersing and exchanges, but also do offer a range of title and closing services. Our co-host this morning for the operating side of this call is Dan Lewig of the Insurance Store. And he is an independent insurance broker, so he uses a lot of different products to serve his wide range of clients. David Fox of Carpet Masters Flooring. He also has two other companies that are part of the flooring industry, and he is helping a lot of realtors and their clients with their flooring needs. And we have Andy Hickson, who is an independent insurance broker with Executive Financial Group. He can do a wide range of both residential and commercial insurance services. Nathan Kerpin, one of our panelists this morning with Benchmark Mortgage, covers both Illinois and Missouri and does an excellent job. Denise Reed with Paget Business Services. They are based in St. Louis and provide accounting and business consulting and individual financial planning work. We have Nothing Bundt Cake, Janet Neely, who provide the incredible bundt cakes for closing gifts, and they've also been call them event gifts for our live real estate collaborative seminars. Don Thurman, one of our panelists this morning, she's in charge of marketing for a fairly significant home builder, meaning they're building maybe over 100 homes, as she'll tell us in a minute, Concert Homes in St. Louis. So you want to get to know them and what they're doing. And then Legal Shield and excuse me, Legal Shield and ID Shield, represented by Deborah Russell. And Short Sale Specialists, which is myself and Rod Hamilton. We work with realtors all over Metro St. Louis and Missouri, helping their clients who are in trouble and for a wide range of reasons. So thank you all. I would recommend that you all look and go to the website for the Real Estate Collaborative, where you'll find more information on these. So I'd like to introduce our first panel. We have three panelists who I chose carefully because of the areas that they cover. And the title for this first panel is What You Need to Know About the Year-End 2020 Market and Expectations for 2021. And our panelists are Spencer Argueta, she's a realtor agent. She's the area director of Missouri operations for Palmer House Properties, which is a name that's getting around and getting to be known in the community. And Spencer, I'd like you to add a little bit more about yourself before I move into introducing the others.
Yeah, so happy to be here today, work with Palmer House Properties. Been with them the entire time I've been a licensed realtor, which is just a little over 3 years now. We have been growing immensely in the St. Louis market, more and more agents coming over and starting to see results, which is just incredible. We have just a family-oriented vibe where we just take care of each other, and it's taking care of business now.
Yeah, your agent roles are surging. You're adding a lot of new people.
Yes.
Yeah. So the next person I want to introduce is Don Thurman, who is the marketing coordinator for Concert Homes, which means she runs the marketing for all their projects. And she, before this, had been an agent and marketing consultant for maybe 20 years with firms like Coldwell Banker, Gundaker for a lot of that time. And Don, I'd like you to just give us a little more background, please.
So I do have my real estate license, but I've never utilized it as an active agent. That was just one of those things. I've always done marketing. I've been with Consort Homes now for almost 3 years. I really thought that was going to be a smooth, easy transition going from residential real estate into new construction. Boy, have I had a lot to learn, and it's been a really great opportunity just to learn more and bridge a good gap between the realtors and new construction. Sometimes there's a stigma that new construction doesn't really want to work with realtors, and I really want to try and get that notion out. That's not really true. We know you have a relationship with your clients, and we really want to work with you to get them into a great home. So we really hope that you do consider new construction when you're out taking your buyers.
Yeah, you've got a great product.
Thank you.
And our third panelist on our first panel is my friend Nathan Kerpin. Everybody else is my friend too, by the way. But Nathan is basically the in charge of Benchmark Mortgage of St. Louis, which is, I believe it's a Texas company that you are the. If I got that right.
Yes.
And you lead a team that's based. You cover both St. Louis and the East Side. And I wanted him to be part of our panel because he can add the observation of he sees going on from a lender's standpoint.
Absolutely.
A little more background on you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, my name is Nathan Kerpin. My handle online is #YourMortgageCoach. Spent the last 20 years financially educating consumers and partners alike, just leading them down the path to financial freedom, whether that's that American dream of homeownership, or helping people really even finally get rid of that mortgage, get themselves to zero is one of our passions. Debt free is kind of an interesting thing we do. In the last 20 years, we've just been really blessed to come alongside people and help them, whether it's with purchasing, refinancing, building, or remodeling. We've got that all with Benchmark, and our team spans actually 13 states.
Wow. And you are a Dave Ramsey coach, which is an added blessing for your clients. That's great.
That's the unique perspective. I can put you in the biggest debt, and I can also show you how to get out of the biggest debt.
Oh, that's good. Excellent. Well, we're going to introduce our next two panelists when we come to the part 2 of our seminar today. So I'll delay that for a little bit here. So let's talk about what's going on with the market. Where is the overall St. Louis market right now? It's a really big question. I'm going to start with Spencer. Spencer, can you tell us what you think's the status of the market and as of today, kind of where it's come to?
It's been a big year. I think at the beginning of the year, everybody was going, oh my God, what's happening? Here's the shift. It's not going to look the same. And then sitting today, even if November and December are down by 2,000 home sales, we will have the most homes sold in the last 10 years here in St. Louis. I mean, it's just been incredible. Only 2 months had less home sales than any other the previous years, which were April and May, which was in the heart of the lockdown. Everything stopped, and then from there on out, everything's just been booming. So I think all of us agents who've been out running this whole time, we're like catching our breath and continuing to work. I think things got pushed out. It's been insane. Demand is high, multiple offers on everything. Last year we were shocked, like, oh, everything's going $10,000 over. And this year, all of a sudden, 10,000's not over, is not even winning multiple bids anymore. So It's just crazy.
Wow. That encapsulates it well. And Don, tell us from your standpoint, I know it's been a good year, but tell us all that you see going on in the market to this point.
So we started off the year extremely strong. We had an excellent February and beginning of March, and then just like residential resale, we kind of came to a halt mid-March into April. People kind of started getting their heads back out in May, and we actually had a really, really good run of sales for July and August into September. We actually had the best August we have ever had as a company. So that was great. We are off of our goal by just about 8%, which we figure, giving all the circumstances, that's fantastic. We, try and target about 100 to 120 homes a year, and we will get probably close to 90. So, I mean, we feel like we'll finish strong. We've obviously had bumps in the road, but
sure,
new construction is a great option for folks just because the resale market is, hard and not as much great product at the moment and all those multiple bids. So let's just build. So it's been good for us, and they're clean. No one else has lived there. So this is kind of a time where everybody's thinking, I don't want any germs anywhere around me. And so if you're building a brand new home, no one else has lived in there. They haven't had a pet, or nobody's sneezed, hopefully, so it's kind of a good good world for us to be in right now.
Excellent. And so you're planning, well, we'll get into this in a minute about your plans. Let's talk with Nathan here about the perspective from the lender's standpoint. I know interest rates are still pretty good, aren't they? And is the
Oh,
money supply
absolutely.
still good too?
Yeah, I mean, the money supply has done nothing but grow this year. Our company actually surpassed $500 million in funded loans in 1 month last
Wow.
month. So that was our monthly gross closed business for that month, not year to date, that month. I keep stressing that 500 million was amazing. And we've not hit capacity. Our company, so the industry's got plenty of liquidity out there. This isn't just about us. The credit tightened up there for a bit. That's relaxed. Not completely back to where we were pre-COVID, but we'll call that PC. But
Right.
we're still we've just created guidelines to go back to a little bit more makes sense. If somebody is under a certain threshold, like a 620, then we're just, because we're very big on pre-approving, we take the time to do a TBD underwrite on that client in those circumstances, making sure before they shop, and so that they can be competitive and that they're not a ghost type borrower. There's somebody that can go to closing. There's somebody that
So-
can fulfill.
Have you seen any lessening in the demand for mortgage finance in the last couple months?
Last couple months, I mean, we had a little bit of a slowdown. I think a lot of that's just been people getting acclimated to life with school and things like that. That's kind of the normal annual kind of hiccup or bump in the road. And obviously this year's been different than any year. Having kids in school, I think our children look at us and go, okay, what are we doing today, Dad? And are we going? Are we remote? Is today an A
Right.
day, a B day? So a lot of that has an impact on the consumer demand because they're just the brain space is very occupied. I agree with Spencer and Don. The competitive bid situation. I mean, I'm looking at my pipeline here. We've got over 57 pre-approved and looking buyers right now. Right? That's people that are solidly pre-approved, want a home, have not found a home. Some of those are aging, 60 days or more in the market looking. So, again, inventory is an issue, which is driving people Don's direction. So some great partnerships with builders, right? Able to be had to build, so we've had more borrowers make that decision. And there was that slowdown with those borrowers that were building, right? They'd already signed that contract, early spring or late winter, and they were ready to break ground, and ground didn't break, right? Because everybody was just
Right.
in that pause.
So are there parts of the market that aren't strong, that are, I'm addressing this to the whole panel. Spencer, are you seeing anything, any segments of the market like above 500,000 on up? Although I'm seeing strength there, but maybe you have a different opinion. What are you seeing?
Well, I wish I spent a lot more time up in that price range, but no, I wouldn't say that there's a spot in the market that's weak anywhere. Above 500,000, it's a little slower than what you're seeing, under 4. But homes are still selling well. I think you're seeing a lot of people this year that with lockdown and having to work from home now or school from home, they're going, okay, it's time to just jump and move into that bigger home, find a place that mom and dad can come and work or live with us. And so I think that market rebounded a bit and people have been looking for larger homes or homes with pools since pools were shut down. And so that higher price point did well this year.
Are they moving farther out?
I
Like you're
think
seeing a
there's a lot
national
of
trend?
people moving further out too. Yeah.
How about you, Don? What do you think?
We've definitely seen that, the unemployment rate right now, it seems to be hitting kind of more of the service workers in the hospitality industry. So those are the ones that are a little bit more stuck in their homes. So really it's the under 250,000 price point that's probably a little bit slower right now, just because there's more uncertainty in their world.
Right.
But we definitely are still selling homes that are 3, 4, 5, even into the $600,000 range pretty significantly. And those haven't been slowing. So that's great. And it is kind of due to the fact that more people are working at home and they need more space for their kids to work. And like Spencer said, multi-generational, they're, figuring out ways that they can combine households. So they're, wanting more space that they can have, parents or a, older child come and live. So that's where the new construction really kind of helps, because you can kind of tweak those before you even move in. You don't have to buy a house and rebuild it, basically, do all
Right.
that construction. So it's helping.
How
And
far
they
out
are
are you
moving
built?
farther out.
How far out in terms of suburbs are you building? What's the farthest flung suburb?
We are out in Wentzville at this point.
Okay.
So
That's a
we
thriving
just
area.
opened in Lake St. Louis, and then we're kind of on the closeout mode of a couple communities in Wentzville. But yeah, that's how
Excellent. Those are thriving areas.
they are. They
That's
are.
great. What are you noticing, Nathan, as far as segments of the market? You say you've got it's a really sizable pre-approval inventory.
Right.
What about the price ranges? And
And that's great. I mean, I love following Spencer and Don here because they're making great points. The upper echelon, I mean, I guess really the difference between the haves and the have-nots have never been greater, in my opinion.
right,
Just between those that are, they have that career that can allow them to work from home, versus those that are relying on service, relying on us being out there in the marketplace, spending our dollars. And that's been a struggle for really both ends on some points. The lower end, the sub 250, like Don pointed out, has been a little bit slower. And we've always helped a lot of families in that department. But the job, we're seeing stability in certain areas there. So that's still strong. Just the service workers are definitely hurting.
getting a lot of FHA business. Getting is that more or less than historically?
Historically, FHA is a good, strong product and a good, strong client base. We've actually done a lot in that area. We've done a lot more state grants. So whether it's MHDC or Illinois Housing Development Authority, we've been seeing an uptick in that area,
Okay.
helping people utilize those programs. So we definitely have seen an increase in that this year. The jumbo kind of disappeared in March. And so that hurt, that upper echelon, that 510 plus borrower. And nice thing is we're seeing that coming back to the table here in recent months. So back to that loosening. We've got resources in jumbo again that just sort of disappeared for a good, 4 or 5 months, which really hurt, an ability to do business in California and other high cost areas.
Right.
And St. Louis, I mean, there's a lot of great priced homes and communities that, the jumbo's necessary.
This is for all three panelists. Are we seeing any increase in loans that fail? In other words, people get up to closing or before closing and they aren't making it through. Is that stable or is it increased?
I'll say I've been blessed this year, and thank God I've not had a single one that got into it and it died. I think
Okay.
that for any agent starts with working with good lenders and having open and upfront conversations with the clients ahead of time
Right.
about how stable is your position right now. If it's on the borderline, probably shouldn't be looking at buying a house.
Right. And or at least talking to somebody like Russ Keller of Credit Law Center to really work on credit repair early so that by the time you're ready, you are ready.
Right. Yeah. So fortunately, been blessed there. But it's not uncommon to see houses come back to the market, and in the agent remarks, it's saying financing fell through, lost their job the week of closing, or things like that. So that's painful. It's definitely out there. I've just been blessed not to have experienced that.
Right. Dawn?
With the new home build, I mean, we've been, like Spencer said, we've been very blessed in the fact that we have not had too much of that issue. We have had a couple folks like that were in February that really got cold feet to move forward just because of uncertainty. But what we're seeing is more of the custom home builders are losing some of their folks just because with the price of lumber alone, they've had to raise their costs to build a home. Well, luckily with us, we can predict several months out. So folks that put a home and purchase a home under contract in February, their price can stay and we can honor those prices through the build.
You're buying enough
Whereas-
volume. Yeah.
Right. Whereas a custom home, they can't guarantee those like we can. So they're definitely seeing a bigger hit in that market than we are.
Yeah, and
How's the election affecting the market?
gosh.
Which one of us wants to start there?
Right.
I think, go ahead.
Go ahead, ladies.
The week before or a couple weeks before, I talked to lots of buyers that were just like, yeah, we're going to sit and watch. I think that that's common, you know, especially this year. Fear has just unfortunately been a common thread for people. We're going to sit and watch what's happening with COVID before we make a move. And once we started getting used to it, we started doing it again. And 2020 has been a very contentious year when it comes to politics. You're one side or the far side, and everybody's back and forth. And so a lot of people wanted to sit back and watch. I feel like now that it's over, people are kind of getting like, okay, I can start moving again or doing things. But yeah, it's I think for just a little blip, it slowed things down. And now they're like, okay, now we have an idea what's going to happen. Let's continue on.
Okay, Dawn.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nathan.
I think I kind of agree. I mean, there are still some uncertainty with, you know, how things are going to be run now, if there's going to be more job loss. One thing that we know with a lot of our materials, the tariffs that were put in place by Trump were actually a good thing because it moved a lot of jobs and materials into production in the United States. We don't know if those tariffs are going to continue. So if they continue, that actually is more helpful for us. If they're taken away, that could, you know, kind of hinder some of our business. It could make some of our products be a little bit slower for production and getting them onto job sites. But then again, the election also kind of adds a newfound confidence, you know, just because there's going to be something new and something different and people are very hopeful. So we don't know. That's the fun part of this business is we don't know.
Right.
And we're just going to hang on and see how it goes. And we're just going to be ready for whatever those changes might be.
Yeah. And with, I mean, gosh, you know, the administrations, no matter who they are, the decisions they make have such an impact on every one of our lives, you know, whether it's what's been done with the Fed. I mean, let's face it, if rates hadn't been kept as low and continuing to dive like they had through this pandemic, if those decisions and encouragements hadn't been made, I don't know that we'd be on this panel right now. Or it'd be a totally different conversation. But it's been a year of abundance in real estate, despite the uncertainty, you know, because you add all that uncertainty, that really means it's in conflict with the numbers, right? It's in conflict with the best numbers St. Louis has seen in 10 years.
It's amazing.
So I think, you know, having that election come to an end, having every vote be counted, having all those things, you know, be tallied and a nation divided come back together is going to mean abundance for everybody as well. And I pray that we take that and really get back to community, get back to us all being together, because dare I say, God made us need each other. So a lot more than we need these elections, that's for sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Nathan.
Sorry.
So it seems to me, if I were to say that all three of you are optimistic for 2021. Good. All right. Then the last question, is this a good time for someone to get started in the real estate business, either as a new agent or in the mortgage business?
I'll start off, I guess. So I was thinking about that question, and quite honestly, I think the true answer is it's all about that person, their mindset, and have they set up the finances to, you know, go a couple months without a paycheck if that's the case? Have they set up and got the work ethic and the mentors and the people who are going to help coach them through it? And every person that answer is different. If somebody's sitting on the fence going, okay, should I do it or not? Love to talk to them and talk about what it's really like, so that they can make the right choice for themselves. I follow lots of agents nationally that in the middle of 2008 decided, hey, I'm going to become a realtor, and their family cried like, are you crazy? Like, this is the worst time ever. And they're sitting on just real estate empires and just huge books of business because they got in, they had the right mindset, motivation, and mentorship to just get in and dominate the market. And so I think that with anything, it's all about who you're surrounding yourself with and what you've set yourself up. And if it's the right time for you, it is. You know, sellers ask us all the time, you know, when's the right time to sell? Well, when it's right for you. And so that's the same answer for this.
Sure. Well, good. Don, do you have anything to change or add to that?
No, I agree 100%. Like Spencer said, I kind of was looking at this question and thinking about it, and I wrote down, I honestly believe there is no wrong time to get into the real estate market, because it's a mindset. And if you are willing to be kind of that ditch digger and go out there and get the leads and get the listings and ask for, you know, the clients, and just be willing to be out there and put in 120%, which we should all do in our jobs anyway. That's just how we're supposed to be, is to, you know, to give it our all. And if you're willing to do that, you'll succeed, you know.
Great.
So I absolutely agree with Spencer.
Serving others. Nathan?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't echo the best words: mindset, motivation, and mentorship. I mean, mentorship, I've got to really, all three of them are important. And the reality is, a simple belief is you either need to be leading a team or on a team, because that team creates mentorship. That team creates the ability to delegate. Everybody has that belief that they're going to get in and hit it big, and they're this one-man band mindset. And if you try that, I mean, I've done this 20 years and I did that, and it just doesn't work. That's you might as well be a slave to the job. So anybody that's hearing this, I would implore you to partner with somebody that's going to create that has that culture part figured out, that hits mindset, motivation, and mentorship, because you can't do it alone.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank the three of you for a really well thought out first panel, giving everyone a lot to think about and a good review of the market and some of the factors that are governing it. And we're going to move now into our panel number 2 with two favorite people of mine who are in the home staging business. The subject of this panel is, does home staging make a difference for homeowners and realtors? And I'm going to introduce them and ask them to say a little bit about themselves after I've introduced them individually, and then we'll move into the discussion. So first, I'd like to introduce Andrea Lenson, who is owner of Design to Sell. That is an occupied home staging service based in St. Louis, and she's received a number of national awards for her work. And she's also been in real estate for a good deal of time and has a lot of experience. So Andrew, do you want to add to that introduction of yourself, please?
Sure. Well, I guess I started real estate in '79. So when you talk about getting into a rough time, interest rates were like 17, 18%. But you know what? We figured out ways to do it. So anytime's a good time for real estate. Yeah, so I've had the experience of having a real estate company, also in new home sales, which I really thoroughly enjoyed. And then I've been in staging for about 15 years, but having my own company for the last 5 years. And it's probably one of the most rewarding things I've ever done, because I see such a need for occupied consultations on properties that are currently on the market. So it's been a real blessing to do what I love.
How many people do you have working with you besides yourself?
I've got 4 stylists. I'm very excited about that.
That's an interesting term for them too, stylists.
Well, they are stylists. I mean,
They're
they go
stylizing the
in and
home.
they
Very
make
good.
things beautiful. So they're
Right.
stylists.
Well,
Yeah.
that's great. And our other panelist is our friend Linda Borghi, who is owner of Dazzle Home Staging, covering Metro St. Louis. And she handles the unoccupied properties and has a long, successful history. So I'd like you to expand on that a little bit, please, Linda.
Thanks, Barry. Yeah, as you mentioned, we handle the vacant homes or unoccupied homes. So we do model homes. We work with investors, builders, and realtors and sellers. And we average, last year we staged almost 400 homes. We've been in business for a little over 12 years, coming up on 13 years. Have a staff of 11 employees. We own all of our own inventory and trucks. And yeah, we've kind of got it down to a science. As you know, Andrea and I, we kind of share business. Andrea does a fantastic job on the occupied homes, and then we do the vacants. And we've really dialed in our wheelhouse. I think each of us, Andrea and her staff, are so great with people and working with the things that we have that sellers have. And on the other hand, we've really just dialed it in on what it takes to stage a vacant home and what buyers are looking for, and really what gets it sold quickly.
You must have to maintain a really sizable inventory of furniture and accessories.
It's crazy. Yeah, we at any given time we have about 100 homes staged. In addition to what we house in our warehouse, we have a 10,000 square foot warehouse, which really just scratches the surface of the inventory that we have. So it's a lot to keep up with. It's probably the biggest part of what we do, is just maintaining that and making sure everything is up to date. It's current, because as we all know, the trends change so quickly, and what was popular 2 years ago is not what's popular today. We want to stay cutting edge. We want these houses to look and feel fresh and and attractive. So it's a balancing act of kind of keeping that going and maintaining a sufficient amount of inventory and keeping it fresh and hot for the homes that are coming on the market today.
You must love what you do.
Oh, absolutely. I can't imagine doing anything else.
How about you, Andrea?
Took me till I was 40.
It's a dream come true. I mean, it really is. And we also, as we've got a little warehouse. So, because we don't have furniture, so we have the ability, because the most challenging part of our job is working with what the seller has. So we have to complement that. So we do have a warehouse of accessories that we can bring in to make the home look a little bit more appealing and a little bit more up to date.
So I'm going to ask you both this quick question. How do you find the furniture and accessories that you have available? Where do you find them?
You want us to give our secrets away? Okay.
No, all right. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. But it just puzzles me. You must have sources you can go to that you can shop and find reasonably priced, but still very good looking.
Absolutely. Like Home Goods.
That one.
Yeah, Home Goods is great. Hobby Lobby.
Okay.
Linda does a lot of online shopping because she can buy it in bulk. So Linda, tell them about what you do.
Yeah. So at this point in our business, we buy almost, over 95% of all of our inventory we buy from wholesalers.
Yeah.
So I go to market every year, a couple times a year sometimes. And, we have relationships with vendors, so we can get really good prices because we buy, like Andrea said, we buy in bulk. So we can get a really high-end product for, a retail price, what someone would pay retail here. And that really helps us to be able to maintain a high quality inventory.
Boy, on the enjoyment side, going to market once a year, it's got to be a real kick for you.
It's so fun. Yeah. It's great to see, it's a great inspiration and to help us to know like what's coming, on the coast, because we're the Midwest. So we're always the last to get it.
Okay. For both of you, Andrea, maybe start with you. How do you price your services? What are the ranges of cost? Who pays and when?
We offer several services through Design to Sell. Our consultation with the sellers would be anywhere from $225 to $325. And we go room to room with the seller, and then we provide the agent with a detailed report on the conversations we had. It takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on that. We also have a service called Photo Ready, where if the sellers don't want to do the work themselves, we can go in and do it and get it ready for the photographer, and that's $350. Then we also have, which has really been taking off, our division called Design to Live. So everybody says to us, oh, we love what you did in our house. Can you help us in our new home? We said, sure, we absolutely can. So we start that out as $275 for the first consultation, and then after that's $125 an hour. We also do color consultations, pick flooring, whatever the seller needs to help them get through this process, we are able to provide for them.
So it moves
And then
into
our
a,
accessory packages start a little over $1,000. So it just kind of depends upon what they need.
so you move into an interior design role at some point if they wish.
We do, because they like what we've provided for them as services.
Sure.
And so we kind of know their taste now, and then we can help them in their new home. And a lot of agents give that away as a closing gift, which is just fabulous.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Mhm.
How about you, Linda? How do you, it may be hard for you to describe in terms of being all over the map, but give us a range, how you charge.
Yeah, so staging can vary, vacant staging pricing can vary tremendously, but some of the things that we base it on are the price point of the home, the square footage, the scope, the areas that are needing to be staged. You know, some of these homes today have like multiple living rooms, and that's a costly area to stage. So I would say, as far as the average price, the most common price for staging that we see is generally between $2,000 and $3,000, but it can go on up to $8,000 to $10,000 for a luxury estate, just depending on, you know, again, if it's, you know, a $3 to $6 million home with, you know, 16,000 square feet, something like that, it's going to get expensive. But for the most part, I would say about 85% of the homes that we stage are, you know, a living room, family room, dining room, master bedroom, and those tend to run between $2,000 and $3,000.
Okay. And in both cases, Linda, who pays for your service? Is it the client?
It is the client, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Occasionally we'll see an agent kick in for it, but it's very rare. So
Okay.
typically the seller pays for our service.
And they pay for it up front.
They do, yes.
And is there a time frame there that if it goes beyond a certain time, they have to pay something else?
Yeah, so we don't rarely ever have to charge monthly. What we do is we charge a flat fee for the installation and the removal and the rental of the furniture. We give sellers 6 months to sell it, which in this market is, I mean, they're under contract within the first 30 days. But I think it's peace of mind for people, because even though, you know, we all in our industry, we know the house is going to sell quickly, a buyer or a seller who hasn't sold in, you know, 8 or 10 years, they're skeptical and there's a lot of fear. So we give them 6 months and it's plenty. So we don't really charge monthly. It's not.
I forgot to ask you how many people you employ.
We have 11 employees.
Okay. Are some of those the equivalent of what Andrea called stylists?
We do. We have 3 designers, and we have 3 office personnel, and then the rest are logistics.
Okay.
So we have someone that answers the phone 9 to 5. So you're not going to leave a message if you call. Typically, if someone calls and they need a price for staging, we can give them a price either on the phone right there in that conversation or within the hour.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So I guess the question that want to move into next is it worth realtors and their clients spending the money on staging? You know, can you point to any statistics that prove that it's worth spending that money?
It's absolutely necessary. In our situation, 95% of the agents are paying for the consultation.
Okay.
Every once in a while, some of the sellers will pay it up front and the agents will say, we'll reimburse you at closing. So that way, you know, and that's why we always like to provide a report to them. But statistics show, and we kind of set something up that.
Would you like us to put that up on the screen?
Yeah, you can, because if people want to take a picture of it or copy it, that's fine. It's good information. It came from, it's a 2020 survey of 13,000 staged homes from RESA, which is a real estate staging association. And this just shows it. But bottom line is that either if it's occupied or vacant, the home definitely sells faster. Like 23 days on the market is an average time. Depending on, again, if it's occupied or vacant, the seller's investment will always get a good return, no matter if they're painting, they're spending money for staging, spending money on accessories, whatever. Because in this marketplace, if you're not staging, you're losing out. Because with COVID, people are shopping online. And if the pictures do not look good, it's not going to happen. They're not going to show. And I mean, we could just go on in stories and stories, but these are some of the statistics. And Linda, if you want to share some of those, feel free to jump in.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I would say one thing too, I always try to educate sellers on is that it's not an expense.
No.
You know, it's a mind shift. It's really an investment in getting the property sold. And staging is a key component to the overall marketing of that property, just like cleaning or painting or photography, or having your agent market it. That is what is going to drive the traffic, and that's what's going to lead to the sale. So if you don't get traffic in the door, if you don't get people looking, you're not going to sell it. So it's really about marketing it to get it sold fast and to get the highest price possible.
And I think Linda and I both had the same experience where it's been on the market for, whether it's occupied or vacant, it's been on the market for 2 weeks. They're not getting any showings. They're panicking. What's the problem? Either it doesn't look good or it's overpriced. Both of us have gone in on those kind of situations and did our consultations, brought in accessories. We've had several of those recently, and they turn like in within the next day or so because people cannot visualize. 5% of the market can only visualize. So we've got to paint the picture for them. So even if the market is hot, if it's not hot, it still needs to look good and priced right.
I had that experience years ago, and I did a condo conversion on the West Coast, and I had the idea to do a display unit, and the display unit kept selling. So we had to keep moving the furniture, and people wanted to buy the furniture too. So I guess the question is, do you ever have people wanting to buy the furniture that's been in that particularly you, Linda, have put in?
All the time. Yeah, we have buyers come through. In fact, more so even lately, I think people they're stuck at home, or they're excited about their home, and furniture. There aren't a lot of furniture stores in St. Louis anymore. They're, unfortunately out of business. So we get calls all the time. And sometimes it's just a piece of artwork or a certain chair or something, but sometimes it's the whole house, and we will sell inventory on occasion. Right now there's a backlog. Vendors are, out until April. So it's really hard to get our hands on furniture, but
Wow.
we get asked that all the time, and we will sell it.
And one of our viewers this morning has asked, do you ever have sales on inventory that you want to get rid of?
We haven't. It just, to me, it sounds like a logistical nightmare. So we've never really hosted a sale. Most of the time we just donate it, or, we'll take it to a consignment shop. And sometimes it kind of gets rid of itself. Things get damaged, as you can imagine, moving them on and off trucks a lot. So there's an attrition with furniture in that way. So we haven't, but if we ever decide to, you guys will be the first to know.
Okay. So I guess this is sort of, maybe you've sort of kind of answered this question, but is staging really, it sounds like you're strongly saying that staging is necessary even in a hot market where, people are trying to buy houses sometimes before they're even listed. Is that something that you're running into, that people, broker agents, because most your business comes through realtors, right? And it's by referral, I'm guessing, or be referral through all different realtors that you know. Are you finding, or home builders, are you finding that there's a sneaking in a point of view that, well, why would we, have staging when this is such a hot market? The houses are selling quickly.
But kind of like what I said earlier, even in the hot market and recently, after 2 weeks, if they're not getting any showings or they're not getting offers, something's wrong, even though the hot market. So whether it's a hot market or not, the property still has to present itself, and it still has to look good no matter what.
So that comes back to the point that, there may be a house in a good area that's not been upgraded at all for maybe 30 years. And it really does take a hit on value without something to make it look good.
Well, and to Linda's point, when say you're protecting the seller's equity. So if they put in 30,000, say hypothetically, they might get back 60,000.
Right.
Certain things that they do to their home, they're going to get 100% back. Painting, things to neutralize their home. So it's really protecting their investment. And the more money they put into it, or the more time they put into getting it ready, the better return they're going to get on their home. If they don't care about it, then that's fine. They'll just walk away. But it's all about presentation.
Mhm.
So how long does it take you from a phone call to a house being fully staged typically, Linda?
From a phone call, it depends on the week. Generally, we are, we can get to anything within about a week or so. So yeah, I would say, a week's notice is about average. In the spring,
Okay,
sometimes it can be a little bit more. But getting back to the earlier point, I know the market it's really strong. And I think a lot of people do question, is it worth the investment of staging when my house is going to sell anyway? And, to that point, I think today's buyer is so design conscious, more so than ever. And I think the expectation has been raised that people, they are drawn to the staging and design, and that's what they want. And it comes down to the fact that it is a beauty contest out there, and the prettiest home that's looks like the model home, it looks like a display, that's what people are attracted to, and that's the one that's going to bring the highest offer. And and if your home isn't staged, it's competing against homes that are, and that's becoming kind of the gold standard. When I started in this business 12 years ago, staging was sort of, it was sort of on the fringe. I mean, there were people that were doing it, builders, home builders, and some investors. But today, I think it's the commonplace. If, we work with a lot of realtors who won't take a listing if it isn't staged, because they know they're going to have an uphill battle on their hands. So, I think that's just important to keep in mind that, with HGTV and people being so design conscious today, that it's really a necessity. And, as Andrea said earlier, it's people are shopping online, and you want your house to look fantastic and be the first house that they go to look at.
And millennials too, especially they're our largest group of buyers right now. Millennials won't even go to a house unless it's been staged or restyled.
wow,
They're just, because of HGTV and whatever,
sure.
they shop online. And so we have to appeal to them.
Spencer, you had a question or point you wanted to make.
I did. Sorry to interject, but I wanted to bring the realtor perspective. I've worked with both Andrea and Linda this year. And the reality is yeah, we're in a hard market, and a home that is priced right in a good area, it's going to sell. But do you want to sell to just one buyer, or do you want me to, as an agent, bring you 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, even 20 offers, and you get to pick the one that's the best circumstances across the board for you, best closing dates, best terms, best price, waiving inspections, waiving appraisal, those types of things. You want those types of results. Staging is what's going to get that there. Yeah, I can bring you one offer and it's just going to be, okay, this is what we got to work with because we didn't do those things, or I can bring you a stack. Staging is going to do that.
Mike Hoffmeister is one of our attendees today, and he asked, is there a low-end price point where staging may not be feasible?
I get that question a lot. And I think that even a home and we stage homes that are $100,000, small little homes. And sometimes those homes are the ones that get the biggest bang for their buck, because if someone walks in, it just looks like, it looks like an empty box. And how will anything fit in this home because it's so tiny? But when you put the proper scale furniture in there and, make it look adorable, like a dollhouse, it creates competition and it creates desire. And, sometimes those little cozy homes are the ones that I think really truly get the biggest benefit, because, a big, an estate home or, a new construction, some of those have all the bells and whistles and they're beautiful, but these little tiny homes are the ones that need the most help and actually gain the biggest benefit, in my opinion.
Yeah, and so we would go to, of course, that price point too, because especially if it's a little home, I would say 9 times out of 10, they have too much stuff in their house. And so it would really be the process of helping them go through and declutter and help them show it off the best possible way they can.
Don Thurman, do you have anything you would like to add? And because you work with homes that may have spaces that you want to create the illusion that it's larger than it is.
I mean, there's always a home that needs that. But like when we are doing some of our inventory homes, we tried to stage them all, just to kind of give some of that illusion of how it can look with your furniture. We're selling off some of our inventory, and so our, like the staging inventory. So we're, at the moment, we're not staging those homes near as much, but then again, they're also selling before they're finished, which is absolutely ideal for us. But if they are sitting for even a couple weeks after they're fully complete and cleaned and ready to move in, we will go ahead and stage those homes. Just again, it's kind of the pictures, so that you can give a better perspective of what it looks like for those online buyers, because so many are shopping there first.
So you're reinforcing it. So Andrea and Linda, what comments would you like to make in conclusion? Other than you're getting a lot of business, getting all your business really through referrals, I'm guessing.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Repeat business with realtors who've just had a great experience with you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel really blessed that I've got a lot of realtors I've been working with since day one. And if you require a consultation, we can turn it around within 24 hours. So that's why we have 4 stylists, because we want to get in there ASAP. So, I mean, I truly believe that with all the occupied homes out there, they need some advice. And we've been starting to work with a couple of builders now too, because they're anxious to get the house that the people are living in sold so they can buy, the new construction.
Right.
So yeah, we've been kind of working on that too. So I would say there's so many occupied listings out there, and let us help you get those done. I mean, we're here to advise you, to counsel you, to do whatever we can to make the process easy for you. We have certified service providers. We can pick up the phone for painters, flooring, whatever you need, organizers. We're just there to help you and get you through the process so you can get your houses sold quickly. And like Spencer was saying, for multiple offers, we want more than one. We want to hear
You're
that
right.
you've got 10 offers the next day.
Right.
That just makes us so happy.
So
to hear that.
you have
So,
capacity to take on more business.
without a doubt, we've probably worked with about 2,500 over the past 5 years, homeowners. But we keep expanding. Design to
Good.
Sell is here to stay, and we are going to expand. So
Good.
yes, bring it
How
on.
about you, Linda?
Ditto. We're always open to more business, always. And we're geared toward that now. We're in a position now where, it wasn't always that way. Like in the first couple of years in business, we had more than we could physically handle. But right now we're equipped with a great team. We have, multiple trucks. We have the warehouse. We have the ability to keep our inventory fresh and current and on hand. And, we don't have to ask anyone to wait 2 weeks. If you have a house that needs to be staged, we had one that we just picked up. Matter of fact, it was a new construction in Kirkwood, $800,000 house. They tried selling it without staging, and it has been sitting for 2 months. That should not happen with a new construction property in Kirkwood. We're staging that one today. So, and we were able to get it done in a day's time. We got the call yesterday. So, it's possible. We can do it. We're ready, and we can give you a price quickly. We can get it staged quickly. And the investment in staging is always going to pay for itself. It's such a small price to pay when you consider the payback, of getting that house sold quickly and, and making money. You're going to maybe double, triple your money on the cost to stage. So it's just wise. Staging isn't going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. And we want to be the company that you work with. We pride ourselves in customer service. Our staff we always leave a property better than the way we arrived. Vacuuming, cleaning, all of that. We want to be professional, and we want to be the go-to staging company in St. Louis. So,
well, you've done a fabulous job telling us all how it works and why it should be something that everybody utilizes. You've just been a great feature panel today, and I thank you both for putting yourselves in a position to tell us all that you do. And I also want to thank our first panel, Spencer and Don and Nathan, for commenting on the market so completely and giving everybody a sense of what's going on, and that the future looks good for Realtors and for homeowners. We're right at the top of the hour, and I really want to thank again all the panelists and thank Dan Lewig of the Insurance Store, who has been our managing host for putting things together. Great job again, Dan. Thank you. Just want to tell everybody that this webinar will be posted on the realestatecollaborative.com website. We are also going to begin featuring some of our sponsors that want to be in a video that they have other produced or something like this, starting off in all likelihood with Andrea, who has one that I think she would like to have us put up. This is the last or the final, this is the final program, the Real Estate Collaborative for 2020. We're looking ahead to 2021 and are open to receiving ideas from you as to what you think next year should look like. We are not sure of when we're going to be able to get back into a in-person setting. I have a schedule in mind for next year for the in-person meetings, with fallbacks always being a Zoom, and perhaps with a couple free Zoom meetings sprinkled in between where there's a distance between the in-person meetings. But I'd love to get your input. And so if you could send me an email telling me if you like the collaborative, and B, if you'd like to suggest how we do it. I'm getting close to finalizing that proposal. And so please send your emails to Barry, that's BARRY, at mpastl.com, Barry at mpastl.com, or you're welcome to give me a phone call at 314-306-1948. Again, thank you to all our attendees and all our participants on the panels. It was a really great program today, and I really appreciate the time you've put in to make it so. So happy Thanksgiving.
Barry, we want to thank you. We want to thank you for continuing this webinar and not letting the collaboration go.
Well,
And
thank
so thank you so much for continuing it. And I'm looking so forward that we can all get back together and have great scrambled eggs and nothing but cakes. You know?
There we go. I think we all would like to do that. I know that
Yeah,
what
but
seemed
thank you.
mundane, what seems sort of every day is now, wow, when can we do that again? So
It's also
Thank you for agreeing.
2019.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So thank you. Thank you for
well, I
thank
continuing.
appreciate your
you.
thanks. I appreciate all of you. I'm very grateful for all of your support and participation. So happy Thanksgiving in advance. And we'll be looking forward to interacting with all of you by phone or email. Have a great and blessed day, everybody. Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you for
Bye-bye.
having us.
Thank
God
you.
bless.